Jack Subin, Zunera Ahmed, Boris Pincus, Priscilla Santos, and David Wynn.
Okay,
No
so
one's
we have
here.
nobody from
Wow.
Resiliency,
As long as Jeff can run the meeting, I think that should be fine.
and we know Jeff can run it, so. that's
Okay.
good.
And we have 3 people from the environmental. Jack Subin, Zunera Ahmed, Boris Pincus, Priscilla Santos, and David Wynn.
Okay. All right. Okay, you can start now, Jeff. It's all yours.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to this capital budget priorities and request meeting for the environmental and resiliency committees. I call it the wish list. And a lot of things on this here. I've been chair of the committee or co-chair of the committee for the last 8 to 10 years, and some of them are still on here. So Eddie, do you want to take us through it?
I'm going to take this over. Let me just see if I can pull this up again, because what you guys got is what we sent out. And I just want to make sure that we all have it on the same page. Now I can't pull up what I needed. Here we go. Let's see.
Will the member with the 347 cell phone just give us your name, please?
347
No.
596.
Hi, hello. What is it? What is your name, please?
Excuse me, my name is Fanya Vasilevsky.
Okay,
And my
we just wanted you to
telephone
confirm. No, we know who you are. We just wanted to make you confirm it, and we're going to change your name on the screen, okay?
Okay,
I'll just put your first name.
Fanya.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. I just want to get this thing on board. All right. Just to talk real quick about this. Where the background about this. What happens is every year we come to what do you call it? Selections for district needs. We hear from the public, and we usually have, I guess, about 25 to 30 capital projects and expense projects. And what happens is we present this before the community so that they can look at it and see what is needed and what's not needed, and then submit this to the city of New York. It goes through the borough president, it goes through the city council, and then goes to the mayor. And of course, all of them look at it to see if it fits into their budgets. What happens here is some of the things have been, as Jeff mentioned, has been ongoing, and they have not been addressed, or there's no money in their budget. So what happens there is we always ask for them to be put back in, because just because they don't have money this year doesn't mean that they're not gonna have money next year. And for something like this, it's an ongoing process. And for something like this, we need, let's put it this way, it's a needed, what do you call, us being the advocate for it. Because if we don't advocate for it, we're not going to get it at all in the future. So let's say if we put the boardwalk as an example, as a top priority, yes, the city will come back to us and say there's no money in the budget for it, and based on that, it's not going to be covered. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't need to be fixed. So we always have to be that advocate here and saying, yes, it's a top priority, whether it's top 1, 2, or 3.
Okay.
It will be something that needs to be addressed by what do you call it, by the city. All right, let me just open this up so you can see it. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to blow up this page, but it's not blowing up. Okay.
Eddie,
yes.
yeah, I'll also be doing, since there's nobody from Resiliency, I got some resiliency projects in here too.
Oh, yeah.
We have 2 people from Resiliency, Jeff. I apologize. Jeff
just came
Subin and Boris Pincus
On
are
the
here.
back. Okay, very good.
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, guys. So you're going to see people sections here, and Okay, all right, so I have here, as you can see, these are, as mentioned, capital budget priorities and requests from CB 13. This was given last year. Basically, we did not get the majority of the things addressed, so we're going to request the same things again. For the environmental and resiliency, the first item that comes up is number 4, which is number 4 here.
Eddie, Eddie,
yeah.
can you just go on the one number 3? I know it's just the transportation,
Yes.
but they were protecting, the shoreline.
Sure.
And I have a request, maybe you want to make a note of it.
Sure.
That because they're going to put on a new type of boardwalk, materials on the boardwalk.
Okay.
Is that they should have a stormwater surge study of the various effects of plastic versus wood. and
Okay.
how that affects the
That might be on number 1 because that's number 1, where is to improve the park.
number 1 or number 3.
Yeah. Number 3 is not really part of the boardwalk, but number
it's
1.
Part of the shoreline protection.
Yeah, I mean that's more like the bridges and stuff.
Crosses
Like
over. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's all. I mean, yes, it does deal with environmental protection, parks, and other agencies. Yes, but at the same time, yes, we can probably put that into number 1. So Barbara, if you can put that into number 1, where we would ask them to do a study for the storm surges. We'll get the correct information from you, Jeff, a little later. Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
But yeah, but our first priority that comes under Department of Sanitation is item number 4. As you know, that we have a sanitation garage on West 21st Street that is falling apart. For the people who don't know, that garage has been there since the beginning of time, like 1960s, 1970s. But in 1980s, new houses were built there. And what has happened was they were promised that the garage was going to be moved. 40 years later, the garage is still there. Not for lack of location where they could move, but it was more of where they were going to be moving had some contamination. So it's finally clean, but we found out that the city doesn't have money to purchase that land anymore. So we had so it's back to the drawing board again. Just because we don't have that location doesn't mean we still don't need another sanitation garage. And to put it kicker into this, CB 15 was also being included into our location. They could not because of Sandy. They could not have a functional garage also. So it's not impacting one community board, it's impacting 2 community boards. So we're putting this in as item number 4. Is there any discussion on this?
Yes, I got the discussion.
Go ahead.
Okay. Is there any update on the sale of the property
Yes.
for National Grid?
Yes, as of last week when I was on vacation, they called me up and said that they did have a buyer. It was being at closing, and I asked them, could they give us the name? And they said they couldn't give us the name yet because it's not public yet. But once it does, we'll find out. As far as I know, it's not. It's basically a manufacturing or industrial zone. So what is right now, it's something of a, what do you call it, delivery trucking business. That's all I got. They couldn't give me any more more in details until it's sold, but they are not going to build on it right away either. So we can go back and ask them to see if they would, what do you call it, look into building a garage there, and they could be the landlord. But like I said, that's just a wish list too. But we still need the sanitation garage to be moved. Where, we don't know, but we still need that it to be reconstructed somewhere else. So, but that's an update on the land that's over by Shell Road and McDonald Avenue or Shore Parkway, right by the train yard, MTA train yard. So people who are familiar with it, it's over there, and right now we don't have, what do you call it, access to it because it's being sold as we speak. So, but that doesn't mean that they're not gonna find another location for us. So we just gotta cross our fingers and hopefully, they'll come about sooner than later. All right. All right. So, oh, and don't worry about the words underneath where it says Heim Deutsch and Councilman Mark Traeger, only because this is last year's response. So, of course, last year we had a former council person there, but we'll change it for the new people, which is Councilman Kagan and Councilman Vernical. All right. So, all right. So that's the first one. The next one that we have is on page 4, which is item number 8. Just scrolling along. The people who are looking at this for the first time, these are other committees that we're going to be putting out for their the same or different topics, and they will address those at their committees. It's like the Parks Department will direct it at Parks. The police will have a public safety meeting, so don't worry about that we're skipping over. We're only concerned about resiliency and environmental and sanitation issues tonight. Okay. All right. Number 8. It says evaluate public location infrastructure. Basically, this is talking about rain gardens, stormwater, green streets, and playground. We of course want a new infrastructure such as a storm water, green street, or green playgrounds along the shoreline. We realize that these are short-term solutions that are needed until long-term plans are approved and financed. This, of course, we need this because of what happened with Sandy. We know that the city has come back to us and said they could not put in some of these green infrastructure because of the watermark level that is in our area. If anyone knows about bioswales, you have to dig at least 4 feet to 6 feet down below to have the containers held. And of course, if you hit 4 feet down below us, we have water. So, but that doesn't mean that there won't be other future designs that can help us. So we're always putting this in there, saying that they need to improve our green infrastructure in the surrounding areas that are in our area. So we put this as priority number 8. Is there any questions on this?
Also, that's also the issue of what type of material they're using for the playgrounds.
Yeah,
What-
I mean, like you said, certain things were not available 5 years ago are now available. So I always have hope that we will eventually have some newer, innovative designs that will have these new features. Jack, do you know anything that's upcoming that we should be asking for that's new?
Oh my God.
That's helping with resiliency and flood prevention.
Well, I still think that the entire length of Coney Island Beach should have a dune.
Yes, I or at least
I think that's more
absolutely.
important than anybody knows.
Yeah.
10% agree. More
Sure.
seagrass, more
Sure.
dune.
sure, or even a
Absolutely.
seawall that
That's
looks
the
like a
best
dune
thing you
that
can do.
works it. Yeah, I think something like that is more that we have to push for. It is just more who's going to fund it, and that's the scary part because Parks is not going to invest their entire budget on a sand dune that's only going to affect.
Well, the
two
whole point of
communities.
an executive budget is
Yeah.
that somebody's got to pay for it.
Yep, you got it.
And that's
Yeah.
not so much our problem as
Sure.
their problem.
Yeah, and with the FEMA, things are happening more quicker and quicker with Ida, Hurricane Ida, not yours, Ida, Jeff. Hurricane Ida, with the microburst, things that can happen without even hurricane season. So I think these type of things have to be addressed more as preventive than a reactive measures. So us putting this in, like I said, it does help with short-term solutions, but we still need long-term plans. Okay. So it's okay to leave it there at number 8, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
just moving right along, number 11, which is down here. This capital has specific street segment currently lacking sanitaries. Oh, okay. Since you guys know that West 12th Street to West 21st Street has been fixed up for the last 5 to 8 years since Sandy, and with these new construction, they've been putting them in rapidly. We're asking them to continue those upgrades to West 37th Street, only because, as you know, these pipes are over 100 years old. It's only a matter of time when these pipes are going to burst, you know. So we're asking them to continue to dig up the street, put in new pipeline, make them bigger, to hold up the infrastructure that exists now. Um, I think they only have what 8-inch pipelines before, and that was a lot of pressure on the sewer line. Now they're about 24 inches, which is 3 times the size of what it used to be. So it's handling the flow, and it's going to continue being a mess like on West 16th Street. Those are the sites that you see right now. This is going to continue all the way over to West 5th Street, towards what do you call it, Neptune and West 5th, to upgrade those lines. But right now they also have to remember to go westward, which is all the way to West 37th Street and Coney Island. All right, so we put that as number 11 for the sanitation for the sewer lines, for the sanitary sewers. Okay. Any questions on that? All right. Okay, so the next one we have is, okay, skipping down further. You guys have an easy one. Other groups are going to be a lot more worse. All right, as mentioned, these are capital items that are going to be put into effect in fiscal calendar year 2024. So these are things that are long-term and 2 years out. So if someone has a problem, let's say a pothole or something immediately, call the office. Call us, let us know. We can, put 311 complaint and give us a number, and we can follow up on them. These are wish lists, as Jeff mentioned. Bigger projects, something that we want the city of New York to look at 2 years from now. So something like this is needed, and we just have to keep on pushing on it. Okay, so our next item, as you can see, is skipping on because there's not much more, what do you call it, capital interest for this part. But now we have here, which is continuous support. CS is continuous support. This means that money has been given in certain parts, and they are we're just what do you call it, continually supporting them. And as I mentioned here about the green infrastructure again, we asked them to fix it. Rainwater. Basically, it's the same thing what we just talked about. There was a section in there that actually was funded, so we just want to have them continue support for this. So that we don't have to really worry about.
Nele,
Just
Nele,
yes.
Nele.
Go.
Along with the dunes that Jack was talking about, I think they should be planting more trees because
Yes.
it does, an average tree absorbs approximately 1,000 gallons of water a year.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I think
That's definitely a good idea. Except that's in the Parks Department, and we will put that in. I know that the city has a new initiative to put in another 1,000,000 trees. And I know that they are working on that now. So we don't have to wait 2 years from now to ask for those trees. So, but that is good to know that yes, we should ask for trees. But it's not in this section because we're the environmental and sanitation and resiliency. The one that is going to be asking that is the Parks Department. So
okay, maybe Barbara, just take a note on it. for me.
Or Susan's here.
Thank you.
Just remind Susan when we do her meeting at that time. Susan Fleischenberg is the co-chair of the Parks Committee, and we'll have that later in the month.
You know, Eddie, I just want to mention, one of the
Yeah.
problems is
Mhm.
that the city had to remove a lot of trees that died
Yes.
as a result of
Oh, yeah.
Sandy, and those trees really have not been replaced.
Yeah, I know some of them are in the pipeline to be replaced. But I think what we're also looking is more of new places to put it, because in addition to replacing the existing ones that are vacated because of Sandy, they're also looking for newer ones, because I think, like I said, the new initiative for another 1,000,000 trees is good. So they're going to be desperately looking for other locations to help out. But it is good to know, yeah, that something like that has happened, and we need them to work on that. All right, so we just finished the capital budget priorities and requests for the capital part. Now we are going to the section where it's the expense budget priorities and requests. This part is more of programming, things that are needed that are not capital. Capital is more of structure, structure building. Expense is more of programming or things that you can buy right away. Well, not right away, but you can buy that is not a building. Okay.
Operational.
Operational, thank you. That's the word. Thank you, Jack, because something like that, yeah, it definitely needs to distinguish good people that why are we putting this in again? There's a reason for it. All right. As you can see, there's this number, you guys aren't in there. Top one for expense, just to give you a quick look, is transportation. It's basically traffic, and traffic. So you guys are actually in number 11. Yeah, sorry. All right, the environmental. This is to address, investigate and address the water quality complaint at an address or a specific street segment. Basically, we just say we need DP inspectors for industrial waste and water line. Since illegal dumping from Beach Haven apartments, the community is concerned about future dumping from other developments and industrial business. For our water quality of the creek, we need to find the legal connections to the creek and have them close off or repair. And basically, that's our expense part. Basically, we're asking for more DEP inspectors. Robert, are you there, Robert? Robert Oliveri?
Hi, Eddie.
Yeah, Robert Oliveri is our DEP connection to us. And I just want to see if you know, have they hired any DEP inspectors for these to look out for these outfalls, illegal outfalls?
Need specifically for outfalls or to do water testing in general?
Both, because one is different from the other. But I just want to see if they have done anything since our request.
I mean, I'm not aware offhand if there's been new hires. I know we have been, like most agencies, we've been trying to hire more and more people, and it's been a little difficult due to, COVID. We lost some people. We had some early retirements.
Sure.
And, there's the attractiveness of telework and stuff like that. So we're having a hard time recruiting, just like the rest of the city employment. But that's something I can at least look into for you to see if we've hired new inspectors since we made this request, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that we want them to do. So it's definitely going to be still in there. So we do support you guys in getting more inspectors, whether it's for inspections or for follow-up water quality testing.
Okay.
I think this is definitely needed. So we're leaving you guys in there. Is there any question with that?
Yeah, Eddie, I'd like to tweak that line over there with the request to be investigate and address air and water.
No, that the request there is the actual title of what the city gives us. We put that in other issue when we talk about that, about the air quality. That's under.
Well, isn't that part of the Department of Environmental Protection?
Well, if you look right down below, which is number 12, it really went into Department Health, Mental Health and Hygiene, which is Department of Health or Health and Hospital. And they're the one that addresses the public issues that's in there. but it
Andy,
just
if you
happens to
want
be
to start on
one on
that.
top of the other. But I do understand that, yes, putting the air quality, this is just
The
addressing.
reason why I want it in there is because Governor Hochul is
Sure.
doing, and
Yes.
the DEC commissioner is doing a air quality testing
Yes.
for the entire state, and they started off with Manhattan and the Bronx.
Sure.
They're supposed to go to Brooklyn, and since we're in the EJ area, I
Yeah.
think that we should also include our community in
Oh,
that
sure.
quality. We've been looking for this type of study
Yes.
for at least 7 or 8 years that I'm been the
Sure.
since I've been the chair or co-chair of the environmental committee. So I think
It
somewhere it
definitely,
has to be either 11 or 12.
yeah, it most likely gonna be under 12 because if you read number 12, it does say something about respiratory illness affecting neighborhood population. I'm not gonna read it because that's gonna be in health in the hospital section. But yes, and we are gonna have a future meeting with DEC to get them to at least tell us what the requirements are to get onto that list and see how we can get into that list. So, but that's not at this point, but that is good to know. Okay. All right. So the number 11 is basically for the water quality complaint on there and to address the street segment. So we'll leave that at that point. Is there any other questions about that? All right. So we're going to go to the next one, which is item number 23. Scroll all the way down. Okay, fun one. Increase enforcement of canine waste laws. We just want them to increase sanitation to have them what do you call it, catch dogs and the owner and active littering in the street. The people need to be fined and have them understand that they have to curb the dog. And of course, their answer, of course, last year was due to fiscal constraints, the availability of fund is uncertain. We'll still put it in there. There's always dogs out there, and they need to learn how to pick up or get fined. You know, and I think something like that is needed.
I got to add something to that, Eddie.
What do you want to add to that?
Okay. A lot of the canine waste, the dog waste, ends up on our waterways and on
Yes.
our beaches.
Yes.
I've been out there all summer, and there's a pile of poop bags coming in from the ocean,
Okay.
from the storm drains.
Mhm.
So maybe that could be put into the explanation.
I mean, it's just asking.
It's
increase
not just on the
enforcement.
street, though. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, well, we could talk about. Let's put it this way: we don't have to wait 2 years for this to go into place. We can talk talk to our DEP guy, Robert, about canine waste, and maybe DEP can actually see. I don't know if DEP actually goes after dog waste people who are dumping because you have to catch them in the act, and something like that just doesn't, unless they're really frequently doing it constantly at one location, then that's one thing. But if it's just randomly, it's hard to pinpoint inspector to go there. We're just asking this enforcement in the sanitation because sanitation has it's under their jurisdiction for them to
I would just caution that you don't confuse the difference
yeah
between people who don't clean up after their dogs on the street and the situation where people who do deposit the waste bags and
properly.
then those bags wash out through the sewers.
Yeah.
Two totally separate
Issues,
procedures and two totally separate problems.
Okay. I mean, for this part, this is more increasing enforcement of this canine waste laws. So for something like this, it's needed still. It's just needed. It's ongoing, whether it's educational or getting enforcement to be out there permanently so that people can see them. That's the only way of tackling this. And of course, seeing that what do you call it? Their constraint, they couldn't give it to us last year or for the upcoming year. So that's what I have for now. And guys, that's it. We are finished with this. So I want to open this up. Let me close this down. And I want to open this up to the members. If there's anything that has been coming around the area that needs to be addressed, that is either a capital or an expense.
Eddie, you forgot number 34.
Oh, what's 34?
Excuse me, 35.
30.
Expand
Oh,
disposal.
you're right. You're right. But okay, well, that's I'm just gonna read it. I'm not gonna put it back on. But it's basically expanding disposable events for hazardous household waste. Basically, it did say that they already funded, which is good. But we'll leave it there as I would say to the people, is to have a continued support of it, so that people know that, you know, if they have these household events where they can dispose the hazardous waste at that time. I think there's one coming up at end of this month. What do you call it? I'm not sure what the location is, but I know that this coming up. We'll post it in our newsletter for people who are interested in it. But that's it. We have completed our list of what do you call it? Capital and expense for the environmental and sanitation and resiliency committees. Is there anything that you guys might think that would come up? Because like you said, these are what were rejected basically, but doesn't mean that they're not relevant. So we're putting them back in again, and seeing what, you know, is doable. So the floor is open. Anyone? You can raise your hand or you can unmute yourself. And if not, we can close off for the next meeting. Jeff, I'll leave that up to you.
Does anybody have anything to add from the committees? I'm done.
Okay. All right. And like I said, we'll
I'm done.
our next meeting that we're going to have is going to be in health and hospital with educational, which is next Thursday. We'll send out the agenda again, so that people can have the same, you know, information. We'll have people come and voice their concern of any new issues. And remember, as I always say, this isn't something that needs to be done addressed immediately. This is a wish list for 2024. So anything that needs to be addressed immediately, definitely call the office. Get a 311 number, call our office, so that when so it doesn't wait 2 years from now. Let's put it that way. We don't need a problem to be waiting for 2 years from now. That can be handled right away. So all right, Jeff, if there's no other things,
I'm done.
okay. Jack, is there anything that that you want to say?
No, I think this covers it for the process.
Okay.
All we can do is make the most of what we're given, which is limited.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, you know, knowing what has been asked each year, it sounds like their answer is we have no money in the funds, or ask your elected official, or this is not relevant to their agenda. And it's sad, but we have to bring it to them so that they know that these issues still happens. Just because we don't say it, you know, and it's ignored 1 year, doesn't mean it's gonna go away. That, like I said, the perfect example is the boardwalk. It's our #1 priority to have it fixed and maintained. And yet it's not fixed and maintained, but that doesn't mean that the problem has gone away. It's always gonna be there, but until it's fixed.
And the
something-
garage.
And the garage, sanitation garage for you guys.
40 years.
40 years, they've been waiting 40 years. And it's still,
Government works slow, but I didn't think it worked that slow.
yeah, well, like I said, my daughter might graduate and hopefully she'll see the new garage by that time. So we'll see. So, all right, Jeff,
One
you can
second,
go.
One second, the voice in the gallery is waiting. Okay,
you mentioned that, okay, the boardwalk, the repairs take forever.
Yeah.
Why is it that other communities in the
Mhm.
metro area can get their boardwalks repaired in record time? After Hurricane Sandy demolished the boardwalk in Long Beach, Long Island, they replaced the whole thing with wood within a year. Smaller communities in New Jersey that have far less funding than we do are able to have beautiful, well-maintained boardwalks. So obviously somebody out there is doing the right thing, and we're not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I think that this is something that has
Well,
to be
It
explored.
definitely needs to be addressed. One thing, of course, some of the other places are either wealthier or have a better voting power.
There's
And
nothing to
these
do
things,
with wealthier or
like I
better
said,
voting
like I said,
power.
I'm not answering those questions because I don't know the answer either.
The
But
communities there, their elected officials are responsive.
that's it. The
Yeah,
elected
and
officials are listening to what the people
Communities
are saying.
stand up and advocate
Yeah.
and don't
Mhm.
take any crap.
No,
Well,
and I think
quite simply,
Yeah.
our elected officials do not operate that way.
it's not
That's
their
all
top
there is to
priority.
it.
That's it. It's not their top priority. That's it.
No, they don't listen to their constituents
Yeah.
and they don't act on it.
Mhm.
So what's new?
Sorry. So what we have to do, well, that
Jack, you raised a very, very good point. And, elected officials are there to serve the public, to serve the people who put them in office.
Mhm.
And there are some out there who are aware of that and who do try to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So if our elected officials here need a reminder, then, this is something that the people who live here have to do.
Mhm. Yes,
Well,
and I
traditionally,
think
the reminder is the election.
yes, and I think
New
also
York City
because it's a new
doesn't like that.
administration, we can have some hope in some of them listening to us because some of them want to prove something, and if they can listen to us, I hope that with this new budget that we put in, that they will look at it closer than the other previous elected officials. We can only hope as strong as we push it, and even us pushing it, do they have the power behind them to go forward? Because we also have a new borough president and a new mayor, so it does go up the chain. So we just have to see how they work. Also with the Parks Department, they have a new commissioner, Sue Donahue. She's a very good advocate from the Prospect Park Alliance. So she knows how people feels. So if we can push her drawstring, tug on her heart, and see how we can tell her that, look, how could we not have top of the line, world class boardwalk, and everybody else does? It's just not fair. So hopefully she will look into that. And
Eddie,
see
I just
what
want
we
to
do.
remind you, when you say world-class boardwalk,
Yes, I know.
there is part of our community that
Yeah.
will have a
Mhm.
world-class boardwalk now and forever.
Mhm.
And that's the amusement area. Okay,
Oh.
the amusement area is special, okay, and deserves better treatment than any other area around here. And I think that's got to stop. I mean, there are people that live up and down this 3-mile long boardwalk. And why are more resources
Oh yeah, no,
directed
I
to
do
the
agree with that. Yeah.
boardwalk in the amusement area than any other part of this community? I mean, what are we, stepchildren here?
Well, like I said, with these new elected officials, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, so we definitely have to make some noise. Hopefully, they'll look into these new policies with
Ida
new
knows
eyes.
how to squeak, so I think
Yes, we know Ida does.
we are in the
And-
right direction.
Yes. So, well, we'll leave it off at that. Jeff, you want to close off, or Jack?
No, I think I've said really plenty, and
I just want to wish everybody a safe and happy Labor Day.
Yep.
And enjoy themselves.
Oh, and we'll see you guys at 8 o'clock. So you can log off here and get into the next meeting shortly. Okay.
what
guys.
meeting's at 8 o'clock?
Economic development, and that
Oh, okay.
deals with the boardwalk leases.
Okay, I don't think I'm on that committee.
No, you're not on the committee. You can
All right.
come listen.
Thanks, everybody.
All right,
Good night.
how's it going?